Yo, SFL, what's happening, everybody? We are back. First pod ever recorded this year. There's definitely not another pod. This is the pod we recorded for sure. Got D Haas here and Human. We're running it back. We're gonna do the draft rankings for everyone. Hopefully everything sounds good and there will be no issues today. No issues at all. Um, you guys want to say anything to the people before we go?
Um,
I'm ready to just roll in to start annihilating some of these rosters and just have some fun.
Okay, let's go ahead and start with the Walter division then. Uh, right at the top of the list, we got King of Kingdoms. This man went all in on QBs this year. He's going to be starting Lamar Jackson and either Bo Nix or Drake May. He paid big money for both of them this year. He followed it up with big money on running backs, Derrick Henry and Travion Henderson. He's got those set up, and his wide receivers are uh, Scary Terry, Cortland Sutton, Keon Coleman, and his bench is looking kind of weak on the wide receiver side. He's got Chris Godwin and Trey Harris. The tight end side, we're looking at Tyler Warren as his main guy and Hunter Henry as his second tight end. Kate Otten is there too. So he's a little weak on the wide receiver and tight end side, but his quarterback and running back are terrifying.
Yeah, Victor's bench is pretty actually sparse. I don't think I really paid much attention to that since the draft, but his lineup is really strong. Love Tyler Warren. I'm not sure what cost he got him at, but I think that was a really, really good pickup for him because I think Tyler Warren's going to be comparable to like Kittle and McBride, and absolutely love Travion Henderson. I fucking hate Victor for having gotten him and outbid me for him. Um, yeah, I love Victor's lineup.
What do you think,
Same.
Tejas?
um, I love his lineup too. It all starts with the quarterbacks because we all know how important quarterbacks are in this league. So I love that he has like that elite quarterback with Lamar, and then he just has two younger, like high upside quarterbacks with Nix and May. Um, and then of course I love my stack. So he's got the Nick Sutton stack. I feel like everybody loved Henderson. I forget what he paid for him too. I think it was like 20 something if I'm not mistaken.
He paid 22.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a fair price. I was hoping he would go a little bit cheaper. But yeah, I mean, and if I had to grade it, I would give Victor an A for his starters because his roster looks really good until you scroll down and look at his bench.
Yeah.
But that's what the waiver wire is for too. So I'll give it an A.
Uh, I believe you got Chris Godwin for $1, which looking back seems like very stupid that happened. You know, he's not going to
See,
play for a
Mixon and
while.
Godwin, I feel like Mixon and Godwin, he could have put that money into something else so that he didn't have to start two tight ends. But that's just me.
I mean, he got Godwin for $1. Like, where I honestly think that going so much money on his third quarterback is what's going to do him in. You know, you could have gotten a much cheaper third quarterback, let's say Aaron Rodgers or something like that.
And that's where I wonder if the Patriots' loyalty will kind of maybe get him because with already having had those two quarterbacks, I don't think it was necessary for him to spend that much on Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
And he could have like shored up his bench a little bit more, but I'll obviously quarterbacks in our league are at a premium, so he can trade that very easily to obtain some depth if he chooses.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just see problems with his wide receivers. You know, he's going to be starting Terry and Cortland Sutton and then Keon Coleman. Like, Keon Coleman and a second tight end are both in his starting spots. So I know you guys
I was
are
gonna
high
say,
on him. I know I have rankings that have him pretty high too, if I can find them. But Yeah, it's just I don't see it. I see him still as a strong team. I give him a B, but his wide receivers terrify me.
Yeah, I've got him at an A minus. Would have been a strong A if he had like a stronger bench, but I think he did a really good job of like drafting. Maybe could have, not gone after Drake May as hard and kind of spread the love on his bench a little bit. But
Yeah,
I think an A minus in total, and depending what he does the rest of the season to kind of get that bench better.
Like I said, I think for me it's the Sutton Nick stack. I love that. I was targeting that myself, but
Yeah, I would have liked to have that too.
I mean, yeah, that's a great stack. So I guess I can't hate on it too much. Um, let's go ahead and go on to the next team now. We got G Hole Johnson. Uh, this man has the opposite issue of uh, Victor here. His starting quarterbacks are C.J. Stroud and Justin Fields, with Geno Smith in the backup. His starting running backs, he's got Devon, he's got Omarion Hampton, he has Aaron Jones in the flex as a running back. His wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Tet McMillan, and in the bench, he's got Juan Jennings and Rashi Rice, who are coming back from injury and suspension. So he'll be stronger at wide receiver later on in the season. But his starting lineup is nice. Uh, Tucker Craft is his tight end. Dalton Kincaid in the backfield waiting for it. D Haas, you start us off here since you guys been messing with me. The two of you, you and Jordan, trying to make me believe that there's a trade that didn't exist.
So I really like Jordan's draft just because of the depth that he had. I think where Jordan was getting a little nervous was he was gonna be worried about making those right start sit decisions every week because we all know how hard that can be.
Yeah.
Overall, I definitely like I give his draft a B just because it's overall solid. He had the depth. Now I can go ahead and talk about the trade that we made. It took 3 days. He kept basically cucking me. Like he was trying to get Nico Collins, kept putting me on the back burner. I was getting pissed. I was almost about to just say, you know what, screw it. I'm not doing it. But then our trade basically consisted of him getting like the higher tier players, and then I was adding depth of my bench and my roster. Um, so overall, yeah, I give Jordan a B. I think my favorite part about his roster, um, definitely like his wide receivers. So with CeeDee Lamb, I love Tet McMillan, the upside. The thing I don't like about his roster now is that he looks like he needs depth with Rice going on suspension. Then he has like who knows what's going on with Jennings. So now it looks like he might have a depth issue. But he still has time. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, he's
Solid B.
definitely got a depth issue for sure. Quarterbacks Fields, Stroud, Geno. I don't hate it, but it's not giving the most amazing vibes because Stroud could have a bounce back year. Geno's usually pretty solid, and who the fuck knows what Justin Fields will do. The one thing that I'm a little bit shocked about is that, especially with the roster space, I don't understand why he didn't either draft or go heavy in the because he was a free agent, and I know that he's on Gee's roster now. Ollie Hampton,
Ollie
Ollie
Gordon.
Gordon.
Ollie Gordon, sorry. Um, I'm shocked that he didn't try to leave with having drafted Achan with a lot of the. I mean, he's had an injury bug the 2 seasons he's been there, and he's already kind of limping into the season. So I'm a little shocked he didn't try to handcuff that a little bit for how much he spent on Achan too, and with him being his clear RB1. That's the only thing that really worries me about his roster, but pretty decent roster. I think this is like a B.
Yeah.
And I do want to defend Stroud again real quick, like I did in our first take. because I feel like everybody going into this year is sleeping on Stroud, and people forget like last year they had the Diggs injury. There was no Tank Dell. They lost Nico Collins for a bunch of games. So like like if Stroud has his weapons healthy, like I think he'll be fine. At least better than where he's going in drafts and everything like that right now.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
scored 500 points in 2023, 430 in 2024, but in 2023 he also missed 2 games due to injury. So he's got 70 points on 2 less games from 2023. If he can bounce back to that points per game average that he had for his rookie season,
Right.
as it would be a great comeback. Uh,
Go down to the playoff schedule right there for Stroud. Oh, not terrible actually. That's actually a really great playoff schedule.
yeah. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and give Jordan a B as well. Right there with Victor. I think just like the team is just isn't very strong in the depth wise and at the quarterback spot. We're really playing up that the CJ Stroud comes back and is good. Hoping Justin Fields managed to make some miracle in New York. But if that fails, he does have Geno Smith, right? Like Geno Smith could end up being decent as well. It was like it was not like he was bad at the Seahawks. He was always usable. So I don't know. I do feel like this is a strong team. I do have some parts that I'm worried about, but I think the trades did help them. And you guys were talking about Ollie Gordon. I've been trying to shop this man Ollie Gordon since the day I picked him up. I got him off wires, and I've been trying to send this man Gordon, and we just can't figure it out. Uh, One of the ways that I agreed to him to get moved was in the trade with you, Human, but you will keep on denying me Scattaboo. So, you know,
I know how much you love some scat Gee. I I'm not willing to scat all over you just yet.
I want that scat all over my face. Let's
Thank
let's
you. I set that up. I'm so glad you took it.
let's go ahead and do. Did you give your rankings there, Human, to him? You did, right?
Yeah, I gave him a B.
Yeah, and we're going to go to Dylan now. The Purple Morning of JJ Skull. Starting out at quarterback, he's got Josh Allen and JJ McCarthy. With Jimmy Garoppolo on his bench, is not a starting quarterback, so he's got a bench quarterback on his bench. Running back strong, Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Walker. Love that for him. Trey Benson in the bench for the running back position. Wide receivers, he's rocking with Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Debo Samuel, Cooper Cup, and Adam Thielen, Demario Douglas, Rashad Bateman, and Xavier Leggett on the bench. That's a deep wide receiver bench with a lot of waiver guys. Tight end, TJ Hawkinson, and Jonas Smith. Who can go ahead and start us off on what do you think of Dylan's team here?
I have lots that I love. I do want to make a quick little joke. His wide receiver core, if it was 2019, would be fucking elite. Um, but it's not.
Right.
However, those guys, I think those guys will be pretty solid. I think Devontae's going to have a nice volume of targets. I've got a feeling Debo is going to be back to Debo this year, so that might have been like a really sneaky good
I,
pick.
I, I feel that too.
Um, love his quarterbacks. Obviously, we don't need to say anything about Josh Allen, but I do think JJ McCarthy is going to be a guy that is like really fantasy relevant because I feel like he's going to have that safe floor with running. He's got the weapons. He's got that Kevin O'Connell offense that kind of just quarterbacks fit into it and do well. Um, Running backs obviously are solid. I do want to talk about Kenneth Walker. I love Kenneth Walker. I love the Seattle run game. I love everything about it, especially with Kubiak coming in there and getting like that run scheme. And that's why I love Charbonnet so much and why I have them. But we all know Kenneth Walker is injury prone, another advantage of Charbonnet. and I think it's gonna be kind of like a 60-40 split. But I really like Dylan's roster. Like I like this roster a lot. He does have some good depth behind there too. And why? Once we get to ranking this division, you'll see why he's probably my favorite to win this division. So it's hard for me not to give him like a low A on this because of what I gave to give to Victor and me thinking that Dylan actually wins this division.
D House, what do you think? Oh, I think you muted yourself.
Is D Haas frozen?
I don't know what's going on with D House.
D Haas, are you having a stroke?
You know what, D Haas, you figure it out. Once you can talk, and then we'll hear you, and I'll let you continue. I'll go ahead and talk about it until while you fix this. I feel a lot the same about as you do with Dylan's team. Who Josh Allen, I really like. I'm not that big of a fan of JJ McCarthy personally. Um, I think people give our boy Sam too much shit. I think he's actually good. I don't know if JJ and then everyone expects JJ McCarthy to go ahead and fill that role just like he did last year. And I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I just don't think he's going to be as good as people think he is. It's kind of hard to be bad when you're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. Uh,
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley is very fucking good. I feel the same way about you with Kenneth Walker. And his wide receivers, I feel like could be shit or could be amazing. We had this conversation. He got all these wide receivers for very very cheap.
Yeah.
Um, and they were cheap for a reason. It's because they are not safe picks. These are picks
You're not.
that
They have question marks.
they're all very question marks, but they all have very high upside. This that's what I love about the way he drafted his team. Is like yeah, his players have up like massive question marks at the wide receiver spot, but they all have very high upside with Devontae Adams, Cooper Cup, Debo Samuel. They could be great, they could be bad. Who knows? And that's where I'm worried about this team, and I give it a B minus. But it could win the division. It just depends on the way that these players play. There's no, you know, we just don't know. So D Haas, what do you
I kind of think.
are you back alive?
Sorry, I think his
You guys
receivers are
hear me?
kind of like the vegetables of the meal. You know, like they don't look awesome, but they're going to give you nutrients. They're going to fill you up. That's kind of what I think his receivers will do, and then he's got the boom with the quarterback potential and the running backs.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna go a solid B minus as well. Mainly just because we know Josh Allen alone is gonna win him some games when he posts like those 60 burgers, and then he's got Saquon Barkley to back it up as well. I did love the trade that he made with Robert. I liked it for both teams when he traded Laporta and who else was it that he traded? Do you guys remember?
No,
Jonathan Taylor.
possibly.
Yeah, I think it was
Yes,
Laporta
yes.
and Jonathan
It was
Taylor
Laporta and Taylor.
for McCarthy, and then he got Hawkinson.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that
that's it.
for both of them. Um, I hate his wide receivers, and wide receivers in this league make up almost half your roster. Just Devontae Adams, not a bad pick, but like what's going on with Stafford? Like if Stafford goes down, Puka and Adams get tanked. I feel like DJ Moore. I wouldn't be surprised if Roma Dunze outscores DJ Moore this year. Debo Samuel. Enough said. I don't like what he's literally Eddie Lacy reincarnated as a wide receiver. And Cooper Cup. The Rams brought in Devontae Adams, if that's any indication of where Cup's at in his career. So not loving his wide receivers, but everything else is solid. So that's really going to be the group to watch on his roster is how his wide receivers are performing.
It really is. His team is dependent on that, and if they're good or bad, is gonna make his team either good or bad. Uh,
Right.
Last team is Love Story. The Kansas City Chiefs. At quarterback for Gary here, we got Patrick Mahomes and Tua, Caleb Williams on his bench. The running backs are Brees Hall and Isaiah Pacheco. Uh, Kareem Hunt, Travis Etienne, and Brashard Smith as his depth running backs. Wide receivers, he's rocking Malik Neighbors and Tyreek Hill, Xavier Worthy, Khalil Shakir, Luther Burden. And tight end is Travis Kelsey with Mike Gesicki on the bench. Go ahead and start us off on this team, Diaz.
All right, so I will gladly grade the Kansas City Chiefs as a. I'm gonna go another B minus. Because I like it better than his roster last year when he was the Chicago Bears. I do feel like that offense can take a step up, especially once they do get Rice back. But again, like the biggest knock, Gary, come on, have you not learned your lesson? Like, stop taking so many players from one team. It is not a good strategy. That's really it. Like, I don't hate Tua. We all know the risk with Tua. Caleb Williams, another quarterback he has with great upside. Like the picks from his other team, like they're not bad. Like he ended up with Brees Hall, ETN, Tyreek Hill to go with Tua. Like the rest of his players are not bad. Malik Neighbors. Like I'm just curious what his roster would look like if he only had, say, like 2 Chiefs, maybe 3 Chiefs instead of like 10
And
Chiefs. You know what I mean? Come on, Gare.
All right,
so
Human.
I actually love his wide receivers. I'm not looking at the cost he spent on them because that obviously will factor it. But to have 4 guys like Neighbors, Hill, Worthy, and Shakir we know is going to have a pretty safe floor, and the other guys have like high ceilings, so he does have that volatility there. But I mean, this is probably going to piss him off, but I absolutely hate the rest of his roster. Um, it's just too much correlation on the Chiefs. Like, I don't think they're that team that's going to be super high scoring. They've got one of the best defenses in the league. We could tell last year they've kind of ramped that down or trying to do ball control, short passes, things like that. For me, this roster is like a trying to be nice, like a C minus, maybe a D. But I do love the receivers. I love their volatility and how they can have super spike weeks consistently. But the rest of the roster is kind of leaving me for wanting a lot more.
Yeah, personally for myself, I also am gonna give this team a C minus. It has a lot of guys that other people are high on, but I am not. Like that's the thing. Like I do not like the players on this team. I don't like Tua after getting all the concussions. I Patrick Mahomes, I think, is a guy who's more a name nowadays than an actual fantasy producer. I mean, yeah, he's averaging 30 points per game, but so are a lot of quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield outscored the shit out of him last year. Caleb Williams, zero trust there. His running backs are Brees Hall and Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco is good. I like Pacheco, but I don't really like Brees Hall. And then he's got nobody behind him. His wide receivers, I feel like Malik Neighbors is the most overrated wide receivers in drafts this season.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
And not based off of talent, but based off of the
Team?
situation.
I mean, he's getting drafted as if he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver this year. I don't fucking see it. I don't see Malik Neighbors as a top 5 wide receiver this year. I'm sorry, like you got carousel of quarterbacks, and there are so many other better wide receivers than he with passing situations. I don't
Quick
know.
question: Has Russ ever supported a top 5 wide receiver off the top of your head? I don't think so. I mean, we know DK's he's never been a top 5, but
What about
I don't think Russ has ever supported one.
what about back in the Doug Baldwin days? Did he ever hit top
Uh,
five?
no, absolutely not. I don't
Are
know
you
for a
sure?
fact, but I'm willing to bet on that.
Like if Jameis comes in and takes over early, yeah, I can see Malik
Oh, that's
Neighbors.
a whole different world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Neighbors is.
Russell likes to spread it around, man.
Jackson Dart, man.
Yeah,
Jackson Dart also would be good for neighbors.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, he's a rookie. I have no fucking clue. I hate Tyreek Hill personally. I think is one of those things like when you're a wide receiver who makes your money off of being fast, and then you hit 30 years old, it's fucking game over. You can't be fast anymore. Like, you know, I not a
Sure.
fan. I do like Xavier Worthy though. That's a good, and I like Khalil Shakir for like a possible upside. But other than that, I mean, he's got Travis Kelsey. Is Kelsey going to be better than he was last year? Another year older? I don't think he is. So I give him a
I
C
think I
minus.
think
It's like
Kelsey will be solid while Rice is out. I think Kelsey could be like the short pass Rice kind of player in that situation, but that's not going to last very long.
I think Royals and Xavier Worthy are going to take that role personally. Like I just don't see Kelsey ever getting back to being Kelsey. So this is like what definitely one of my least favorite teams in the league. I give them a C minus, and now we finished up the Walters division. Let's go ahead and rank them. Human, you start. Who do you think is going to win this?
Well, I've already kind of stuck my flag down in the Dylan team, so I've got Dylan finishing first. Kind of a fight for second between G Hole and Victor, but I think Victor takes it. Then we got G Hole and Gary at the bottom.
D House.
I'm gonna go with Victor winning, with G Hole second, then Dylan, then Gary.
Taking it exactly like you are. So we'll go ahead and do the Donnies now. We'll start with the Goblin himself. Um, he
Where do we
started.
start?
What's that?
I said, where do we start with this one?
Yeah. Uh, we all know the draft itself was bad for the Goblin, but he's made a lot of trades. He's going to be starting Matthew Stafford and Joe Flacco at quarterback. At running back, he's got himself Chuba Hubbard and Ashton Genty. David Montgomery, Rashad White, Ramonde Stevenson, and Nick Chubb is his bench at running back. He's got a lot of dudes there, hoping somebody else can step in. Wide receivers is gonna rock Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, Puka Nakua, and Jerry Judy, and Lad McConkey with nobody else on the bench. So I feel like those are some solid starting wide receivers. But tight end is where he's struggling. He's got Darren Waller, Brenton Strange, Jake Ferguson there. Brandon Ayuk is sitting on his pup, so when Brandon Ayuk comes in, he's going to have one more wide receiver. Uh, D House, go ahead and start us off on the Goblin.
All right, so I'll start off by saying, Holden, fuck you. I remember my first beer. It is embarrassing that other people had to finish your draft, and then you cause this entire bullshit with all these fucking trades. So fuck you, Holden. But so I give your draft an F. But you've done a good job of bringing it back. I like Hubbard this year. Genty, I'm a little hesitant on Genty because like that Raiders O line just scares me. So I don't know. We'll see if he can live up to the hype. Um, love Mike Evans and Nakua as long as Stafford stays healthy. Honestly, I don't know what you were thinking. Like I love Lad McConkey, dude, but $34 was a little fucking too rich, dude. Let's be honest. I'm gonna give his roster at its current state right now a C, which again is a big upgrade from his F draft.
What about you, Human? What do you got?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start with this. I like his receivers. I'm just confused. Like, why didn't you just draft this? Like, why draft four receivers at $50 each, and then do this? Like, why did you just fucking draft this to begin with? Like, what the fuck? God, I'm giving that experience an F, like an F. Although watching him during the draft was actually an A experience with his outfit and just like he was like at that point he was. I'm just gonna talk about the draft because I don't care about his roster. He was like, he was just hanging out at the bar island. He like disappeared like a ghost because he didn't have any money to draft. Like I don't know what he was doing. It was really strange. But the aftermath, I think he set something up decent here. His bench tight ends are actually better than Waller. I don't know what he's got doing with Waller there.
He believes, man. He believes.
I think Strange is a decent tight end. I think he could have a good, pretty good season. Like he had some good fill-ins last year. And Jake Ferguson, I think he's going to be a solid option for Dak too. Here's my controversial take. I think Genty will be the bust of the season based off of where he was drafted and where he's being drafted, and the either the price or the draft equity with rounds that people are putting into him. I think he's going to be the bust of the season. Um, just fuck you, Holden. Good luck.
Yeah, he paid $33 for Genty, and that's
Yeah.
a lot of people like when you see him at snake draft drafts. He's going up pretty high too. $33 is a lot. I don't know if he can live up to that expectation. What do you think?
I mean,
I don't think he will.
yeah, we know they're going to run the ball. Like Pete Carroll's there now. We know he wants to run the ball, but that offensive line is awful. And
you
ugh,
Yeah. Yeah.
like nothing against Genty as a player. It's just all about the
Nope.
the guys right now that are blocking for him, basically.
I think he can have a fine season. I just don't know if it's gonna be that good.
Right.
I think he actually ends up scoring just about as much points as Chuba Hubbard, and I think they're both going to score around 20, 21 points per game, which you're going to get a lot of volume. I think they will probably make it. But I don't like the quarterbacks. Running backs, I'm okay with. Wide receivers is obviously the strength of this team. But I feel like his wide receivers have more downside than they do upside from last year to this year. So this is going to be a C team for me. I'm not feeling too good about the Goblins, even though after all the trading. Let's go ahead and move on to Will Midnight Ride. At quarterback, he's got Sam Darnold, Justin Herbert. Running back, Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, uh, Najee Harris, Jordan Mason in the as his depth pieces behind them on the running backs. At wide receiver, we have JSN, Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Keenan Allen, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Jaden Higgins on the bench, and the big pillar, the anchor of this team, Brock Bowers at tight end. Human, go ahead and start us off on what you think about Will here.
People have been shitting on Will because that's like what people do, but I actually like his starting lineup. I think Herbert's going to have a solid year. I think Darnold's going to have a pretty good year in Seattle as well. Jacobs is a workhorse. Kyron's still going to be the workhorse. He'll be the goal line guy. I know they've been talking about getting Cora more snaps this year, but I think he'll still be it. He's got the correlation with JSN. I think Marv has a bounce back year. Olave obviously is the huge question mark on his roster. Not only with his health, but with his QB situation. I think Keenan Allen's an extremely undervalued, amazing pick. I think he's going to pop back in and be kind of like Herbert's go-to guy. And obviously, Bowers is Bowers. I kind of give his roster, including the bench, I think this is a B, B minus, with a pretty good upside if these guys kind of have bounce back seasons.
D-House, what do you think about Will?
Hate it. So I give Holden a C. I want everyone to realize I'm going to give Will a C minus. So under Holden. Look, I'll start with the quarterbacks. I'm not even going to bring up Daniel Jones. He's not worth talking about as the third quarterback. Sam Darnold no longer has Kevin O'Connell. So we're going to get reminded of who Sam Darnold is this year. Okay, it wasn't a coincidence that he balled out in Minnesota. That was all Kevin O'Connell. Now we're going to remember who Sam Darnold truly is. Justin Herbert. This team, everything they did this offseason points to them wanting to run the football more. They just watched their quarterback throw 5 interceptions in the wild card round of the playoffs. They're going to take more off of his plate, lean more into the run game, or at least try to if their linemen stop getting hurt. Um, running backs, I love his running backs. You can't hate on Jacobs and Kyron Williams. They're solid. Obviously, Brock Bowers. I don't know anyone that plays fantasy that wouldn't love Brock Bowers on their roster. But then we get again to his wide receivers. I love Njigba as a player, but this kind of goes back to Darnold. I hate it. Marvin Harrison Jr., I like the upside, but obviously, if it's not Trey McBride, we don't know what's going on. And I hate Olave and Keenan Allen with a passion. I don't trust either one of those. And I think his depth is mostly old, has one eye, and is just terrible. So C minus. Will, what was your plan, Will? Like what? I'm just gonna go and draft a bunch of mid-tier guys. Is that
That's
if
really
that was
what
your
his
plan?
plan is. He's got JSN and then yeah, Josh Jacobs. It's just like a bunch of mids. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right about that. Like I am on the same boat with you. I hate his team. I
mids and Brock Bowers. Like Brock
yeah.
Bowers is on this pedestal, and then it's everybody just
Yeah.
go out there and play, guys.
I I have no trust in Marvin Harrison. I don't know why people keep on saying that, this year is going to be different than last year. He's got Sam Darnold, JSN stack. I don't hate Sam Darnold as much as you do. I do believe in Sam Darnold. I
Seeing those.
and but again, Justin Herbert, I don't see it. Uh, Josh Jacobs, love it. I'm gonna give this team a C. Man,
It's
Brock
mid.
Bowers does bring it up. You know what? C plus. C plus. What about you, Human?
Yeah, I gave his a B minus. If you scroll down to his bench, I actually like a few of these guys. I think Mason's gonna be like the goal line guy. I think it'll probably be almost a pretty fair split between him and Jones. Um, Also with Jaden Higgins, I think he has the potential to kind of be one of the breakout rookie receivers this year. And you guys are clowning on Daniel Jones, but he's been decent for fantasy when he was in New York, and he's got a much, much better offensive line. Um, I think he can be pretty solid this year as a backup or like a spot start as a third receiver. So I don't think he's in as bad of shape as you guys kind of see it.
Is Will in your ear right now? Like you have an earpiece in, Human?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was actually, while you guys were shitting on him, I was actually gonna try to do a little live experiment here because he won't see this until later tonight. But I was thinking of sending him a trade offer right now on the show to see if it gets accepted, because I kind of want a third quarterback. So I was thinking of sending him Murray for Jones and maybe one of his other QBs along with a backup running back and see if he takes it.
I don't know. Because when you were describing his roster, all I heard was a lot of hopium, just like he talks about his own roster. I had to make sure.
I've got a soft spot in my heart for Will. I think he did a pretty good job.
So you're gonna try to send him Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, or you're
Murray.
gonna get Murray for, and who else were you thinking of sending him? Just Murray?
Maybe someone like Scatabo
Oh,
or
don't do that.
I'm
Send,
kidding. I'm kidding. Maybe JK. I don't know.
but yeah, I think you can maybe try to flip two QBs for one with or Murray,
But
Daniel
Dobbins,
Jones,
I don't
Sam
think that's that
Darnold.
bad. Give him J.K. Dobbins and a Murray because he'll get the Murray and Harrison
You like Jordan Mason?
stack.
Maybe you can try to get Jordan Mason off of him too on that.
That's what I'm thinking too. All right, well, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna try something here.
Go
We'll
for
see
it.
what
She tried
happens.
to get Najee, dude.
Yeah, one eye Willie.
Yeah.
I'm not touching the pirate,
I
no
love
matter
your
what you say.
roster so much.
Now, who should I try to get? Herbert or Darnold?
He's not going to give up Herbert. You can go for Darnold though.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's why I'm going for Darnold and Jones. We'll see. All right,
Well,
I'm gonna craft this while you guys
he's
are.
trying to bail out your crappy roster, Will.
All right, we got here martial law. Good old Rob. Uh, who I think is going to be the number one quarterback this year, Joe Burrow, could even be pushing close to 40 points per game. Brock Purdy as his QB2, Cam Ward on the bench, James Conner, Jonathan Taylor, and Tyron Tracy are his main running backs. He's got Bill and Tank as his backup running backs. Wide receivers, Jacoby Myers, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley. In the bench, you got Jordan Addison, the Coke Man, and Matthew Golden. Tight end, Sam Laporta, Zach Ertz. D House, what do you think?
I love his roster. I have him as one of probably the best team in the league right now. Um, Again, I love the trade that he made with Dillon when he offloaded McCarthy and Hawkinson for Laporta and Taylor. I think his team is just solid because like he obviously has Burrow and Purdy, so two pretty good quarterbacks to start. And I love the upside of Cam Ward. He also has the potential stack potential. So if Cam Ward pops off, he has Calvin Ridley. He has the Burrow Higgins stack ready to go. Like it's just a solid roster. And I also do want to take this opportunity to trash Holden again. Um, Rob, thank you for when you took your 5-6 quarterbacks. Thank you for doing the smart thing, unloading them early for small like depth pieces, either as like starters or bench, and not holding on to them for half the season like holding and spamming us for our best fucking players. So thank you.
Who
But
would you?
yeah, I got to give it an A.
Hey, whoa.
You know, I
What do you
like his
think?
roster, man.
I After the draft, I loved his roster, but as a couple weeks have gone on, like I think for me, Jonathan Taylor's gone up since then. But I think Tyrone Tracy's kind of values come down. Jacoby Myers' values obviously come down now that we don't know what's going on with him. Um, Otherwise, I think he's got a really strong roster. He's got one of the top quarterbacks in the league in Burrow. I think Purdy's going to be in that top 10 for sure. Connor's consistent. Tank on his bench is a pretty good one because I think that's going to be kind of like a 50-50. He's got Bill on there. I love the pickup of Jalen Coker, especially with Adam Thielen being sent out. Matthew Golden's a great bench piece also. Now that we see like Jaden Reed's injured, they're dealing with some injuries. Watson's on the IR. I think Rob has one of the best teams in the league. Just a couple pieces on there that have maybe adjusted since the draft, which kind of when we originally did the show, I think I gave him an A, but now it's more along the lines of a B plus.
I also think he's a B plus. I love his quarterback play. I think he's going to get a lot of points out of that position. I love the duo of James Conner, Jonathan Taylor at running back. Think that his running back spots is going to be one of the strongest in the league. His wide receivers
Mm-hmm.
are maybe a little bit weak. I'm not a fan of Jacoby Myers personally myself. Don't really like that one. But he does have upside from Coker, Matthew Golden. If either of those guys truly step up this season, they can take that starting spot from Myers. Um, and I do like Calvin Ridley and T. Higgins. So I do think his wide receivers are still his weak spots, but um, from all the points that he's going to be getting from quarterback and running back, I think he'll make up for it. Sam Laporta or Zach Ertz on his bench. I personally not that much of a fan of Sam Laporta this year. I'm going to say something a little controversial. I think Isaac Tesla is going to take a lot of his targets.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah,
He barely had targets last year. I had him.
yeah,
So
exactly.
frustrating.
And
Didn't
that
use him.
and now there's another player that can kind of eat into his target share that will play a similar role than he can. So especially for like on the end zone and
Yeah.
yeah,
I was shocked. Dude. They didn't give him like hardly any red zone targets last year.
yeah.
Like it was confusing.
But I still like the team. I'm gonna give it a strong B, B plus in that range. Uh, and the last team, Hertz, Fists, Daly, Kyle Daly. At quarterback, he's going to be rocking Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, and Jordan Love. It's going to be a swap. Pick the best two out of these three every week. Uh, Running back is Bijan Robinson, Jalen Warren, Tony Pollard, with Judkins and Tootin on the bench. Wide receivers Zay Flowers, Rashid Shaheed. I always mess that up. Travis Hunter, Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney, Josh Downs, and tight end is Trey McBride. Who going to go ahead and start us off with the Kyle man?
Love his quarterbacks. I know Trevor Lawrence isn't like awesome, like sounds sexy, but I think he's solid enough, and I think he's got a good enough offense around him now where he can get 20 plus points a game. Same with Jordan Love. Love Bijan, love Trey McBride, love Tony Pollard, especially. I think he's been slept on, but the rest is kind of not my thing. I do actually rate Austin Eckler way higher than Jalen Warren, so maybe he makes that switch and starts him. And a couple of his receivers on the bench, I prefer over like a Rashid Shaheed. I don't even know where to rank this. I almost want to say a B minus, close to a C, but like having McBride and Jaden on there kind of, and Bijan obviously are super spike potentials. So probably a B minus, B minus.
D-House?
Kyle, when I first joined this league, like everyone looked at you like you were just so smart. You were the smart, like analytical, like he makes smart picks and he knows like, the weights and the stat like dude, what the fuck is going on with you? It can't still be about the breakup. That shit was like years ago. And here we are, we're 4 or 5 years in a row renaming you. Okay, so I hate the wide receivers. And as I kind of already harped on Dylan's roster earlier, like that makes up almost half your roster. Like I don't Shaheed, I hate it. Zay Flowers, I don't feel like that's reliable at all. I do expect Flowers to have his games, of course, but like the floor, I just see it as too low. I do like the upside shot on Hunter, but I don't like it with his roster construction because he doesn't have that solid wide receiver option in place already. So Hunter's like very risky on his roster. I just hate it. And then you go to his bench. Mooney's hurt. Jaden Reed's hurt. I think Josh Downs is okay and starting to practice again, so he should be fine. But like, I just don't. You got Quinshawn Judkins on his like. I don't understand what Kyle's doing. I really don't. And I want to root
You've
for
talked
him.
me into it.
What's up,
You've talked me into downgrading him to a C plus or a C.
dude? I just don't understand what Kyle's doing. And like, I want to root for him because he's my fellow Eagles fan. But like, I just don't understand like what his plan was. And he better be nice to Will, because if it wasn't for Will also having a shitty roster, I would easily put Kyle at last in this division.
D-Hoss, isn't it true that he actually paid more for the Washington Commanders led Jaden Daniels than he was willing to bid for Jalen Hurts?
Was the exact same 41.
Wow. How's that
Yeah.
make you feel?
Honestly, like he's a traitor. Like you just can't trust him. Like
I sense that you're not mad at him. You're just really disappointed.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm kind of like I'm glad that he let me have Hurts, but then immediately when he did the exact same for Jaden Daniels, was like, really, dude? Like, see, I have Jaden Daniels hitting a regression this year.
Jaden Daniels is a better player than Hurts.
That's Super Bowl MVP Hurts to you, Gee.
Yeah, but who's got the better team around him? That's Hurts for sure.
I think you guys are being a little bit too harsh on him. I still give this team a B. I really like the combination of his quarterbacks. I do think he'll be able to flip one of these quarterbacks for wide receivers if things get bad. I think he can pull it off. Somebody will give him a decent wide receiver for one of these quarterbacks. Bijan Robinson could be the best running back this year. Scored 24 points per game on average last year. I don't think he's going to be, but he can be. Um, Tony Pollard, I like a lot. And he's also got Austin Leckler, which I think could potentially be the starting running back in Washington.
For sure.
Wide receivers is obviously this is where the weak point is. I like Shaheed a lot more than you guys. I'm not a fan of Zay Flowers. I think the Travis Hunter bet is fun. I like Josh Downs. What really makes up for all these shitty receivers is he has Trey McBride. If anything fails, you could always flip Trey McBride for another wide receiver as well, and try to play the tight end game like the rest of us peasants. I think his team's a solid B. I don't think he's as bad as you guys make it out to be.
It's just I can't take my eyes off the wide receivers.
Yeah,
I agree with like the strengths you just pointed out, but every time I look at his roster, I'm immediately drawn to all his crappy wide receivers.
yeah. I'll have to try to find something. Let's rate the Donnie's division, guys. Who wants to go first?
I got this. Let's go. I got winning it, Robert. Second, I'm gonna go Goblin. Third, I'll go Kyle, and then fourth, I got Will, bringing up the rear.
I've got Robert winning the division pretty easily.
Just slide
I've
that
got
in.
I've got Will second, Kyle third, and I just wish the worst on Holden at fourth. I love him as a human being, but after that draft, I want him to hurt this year.
I Rob is the clear winner here, right? Like he's got the best team in this division. Easy peasy. Rob wins. Then I think Will second, Kyle third, the Goblin fourth.
Really? So you guys really think Will's team is gonna get second?
I mean,
I
look
think
at his
he's got a good
division.
run
It's
starting lineup.
just look at this division.
I mean, I don't see it. Okay.
All right, last division here, the dudes, the part where we are at. Let's go ahead and start with the Razor's Edge, Human himself. We got at quarterback Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, running back Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, J.K. Dobbins, Charbonnet, Sampson, Cam Scatterboo, wide receiver Brian Thomas, George Pickens, Emeka Egbuka, DK Metcalf. Tight end, you got Marvin Mims, Isaac Tesla on the bench, and then tight end David Njoku and Mason Taylor. Go ahead and talk about your team. Start us off. Defend yourself.
I got almost everything I wanted. My second, Chase Brown's not something I actually went into the draft wanting, but the value that he was going at was pretty decent. I would have much rather probably ended up with a couple different running backs that I had in mind, which caused me to then kind of pivot a little bit with my strategy as far as what I had in the running back room. Charbonnet is kind of my scratch-off ticket that I'm hoping he'll actually be my RB2 this year if he gets like that time split. Otherwise, wide receivers, like I am extremely high on George Pickens this year, and Egbuka and Metcalf. I think Metcalf's going into a situation where he is going to be extremely hyper-targeted. We saw what Aaron Rodgers even last year did in the beginning half of the season with Garrett Wilson, and then the second half of the season with Devontae Adams. Egbuka's stepping into a perfect situation as a first-round draft pick going in where two guys are injured. One of them was an elite superstar that Egbuka is going to step in and fill in the shoes for. And Pickens is going into a situation with a much better quarterback, true alpha on the other side to draw some attention from him, and a team that's going to have to throw. I'm happy with this. I'm not super psyched about Kyler either, but I'm hoping he has kind of a bounce back year and that Njoku just stays healthy and gets lots of targets.
So what are you giving yourself?
Uh, since the first time we met, I kind of was a little bit harsher on myself than I actually feel like I'm in the situation of, especially with the Judkins situation, because I'm not sure if he's going to play, so I might be in good condition with Ford and Sampson, hoping Sampson kind of takes over there. I'm going to give myself a B plus, not to roster bait too much or anything, but I think that's kind of a fair value here.
All right, D House, how do you feel about this man giving himself a D plus?
Honestly, I have to agree with him. Um, I love the quarterback situation, well, at least for the starters, because he doesn't have a third one.
No, 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 third
Yeah,
QB.
that hurts.
But Baker, like we've seen it, we've seen that offense. Kyler Murray could be a little because last year he was very up and down. So
Hmm.
good week would be followed by a bad week. So if you're prepared for that roller coaster ride, um, I love Chase Brown. I'm pissed that I had to drop him last year because my roster started getting decimated by injuries. So I had to drop him for guys like Jalen Naylor and
Ugh,
things like that.
gross.
I just love Chase Brown. I think he's a really good player. So I'm glad to see this year he's getting the recognition. Pickens and Lamb both to the moon, especially no more Parsons. Like they are, I think Gee said it, the Bengals on a discount. Like they're going to be throwing 40 times a game. And Brian Thomas to me was the biggest steal of the draft. I think you got him for $27.
Yeah.
Dude, Brian Thomas to me is in that second tier wide receivers. So tier one is Chase and Lamb. Then in tier two, you have guys like Jefferson, Brian Thomas. Like I have Drake London in there.
Mhm.
So getting him for $27 to me was like my favorite steal of the draft. I was pissed I didn't have the money. Um, Solid man. Njoku looks like your weakest link, and every year he's drafted as like the tight end 10, but he has top five. Like he finishes like top 5 or 6 almost every year. It seems we go
Mhm.
through this cycle every single year. So I gotta agree, man. I'm gonna agree with your B plus. I like your depth is iffy, but that's because they're young, so they have upside, and that's how I like to build my rosters too, is upside on my bench. So I like it, dude.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm gonna be the contrarian. All the experts hate your draft.
I hate all the experts,
That's
so
true.
that's cool.
That's true. Uh, and I hate all the experts too, but I, you know what? I
Give
think
me
you're a B.
arguments as to why these guys won't be good. Give me the arguments. I would love to hear the experts' arguments on why these guys won't be good.
I don't like your RB two. I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh, well, I'm not a big fan either.
Um, I th- I think David Njoku can take a big step up from last year, so I like that. But here's the thing, right? Like your entire team is like these guys are gonna take a big step up. So you're planting
Yeah.
a flag on every single guy is going to take a big step up. You don't have anything that's safe. You know what I mean?
So the way I kind of go about it, especially with these receivers, to me, it's like talent and opportunities, like the two biggest factors in fantasy outcome.
Yeah.
And these four receivers obviously all have the talent, and now they're stepping in. Aside from Brian Thomas, the other three are stepping into situations where the opportunity is going to be massive. So that's kind of why I feel a little bit safer with it.
I still think your team is a B. I don't think it's like top, but I do see where it could be. Like, yeah, George Pickens is finally going to a good spot, but he's not the number one. Emeka Ibuka is not the number one in Tampa, even though I love him. DK Metcalf is the number one with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. So I can see him being a very good wide receiver. I'm not a fan of your RB2. That's your main issue. I think you need to get that fixed.
Hey,
Maybe
do me a favor and refresh really quick and tell me if you like my RB2 now.
Okay, this team's amazing.
You put Scatterboo.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Go ahead, gee, shit on it. Scat on it, if you will.
right. Let's move
Oh
on to
my.
the next team. Let's move on to the next team. D Haas, talk about yourself.
Um. So my strategy going into this year's draft, there were just so many like younger, high upside stacks that I saw. So you had like Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, then like Drake May with Diggs. You had like McCarthy and Jefferson, Penix and London. There were all these options that I saw that were like, oh, I could get that stack probably for cheap without paying like Burrow Chase money. You know what I mean? And half your budget's gone on two players. So that was my goal. And when I won Hertz, I wasn't expecting to win Hertz because you guys never let me have Hertz. So when I won him, then I was kind of forced to pivot. And I like how I ended up with the Hertz AJ Brown stack. And then I did end up with Omarion Hampton. Like I said earlier, I do expect the Chargers to just run the ball. Like that's going to be the focal point of their offense this year. I love Hampton. And then I definitely wanted one of the top three tight ends. I had Tucker Craft last year. It was brutal. Um, well, him and Laporta were both brutal. So I came into the draft like I'm getting Kittle, Bowers, or McBride. Like I'm not leaving without one of them. And then I also got some younger guys like RJ Harvey. There were a lot of good young running backs this year that I was interested in. Harvey, Hampton, Henderson. I would have been happy with any of them. And then, yeah, you guys know how I am with my stacks. So I was happy to leave with the Penix London stack. I expect London to ball out. If you guys look at last season, Penix started the last three games. And London's targets in those three games were 8, 13, and 18. So
Yeah,
Penix loves him some London.
yeah.
So I expect that stack to basically carry me, or at least hopefully close to. And then I have Hertz, Kittle as like my other rocks. And then I did make that trade with Jordan just to add a little bit more depth to my team because I am a little afraid, like last year, that I'm going to get the injury bug again. So I want to have the depth this year so that if it does happen, I don't have to stress about it as much. Um, I'm going to give myself a B plus.
Human?
I really like your roster. I actually was talking yesterday, I think, in the group chat about how much I fucking hate you for putting together a division that had such high projections for the first week. And you're one of those. I think your starting lineup is solid. You made that really good trade after the draft, getting rid of Hampton and securing Kamara. I was trying to cuck that, or actually, you cucked me. I was trying to get Kamara because despite being in a really shitty offense, I think he's going to get some really good PPR value. And I love how you've got Penix on the bench because once that switch inevitably happens with Russ, he could be the guy that you put in there. And you've got Dart in there to kind of secure that third role. I really like that. I think that was super savvy. I absolutely love RJ Harvey. And I kind of mentioned earlier, I don't rate Brees Hall at all this year. I think Braylon Allen is probably going to get most of the work this season. It'll be a time split, but I think Braylon Allen really ends up popping off. And I adore the Hertz and Devonta Smith stacks so much. I think that's going to be a big one this year, and they might be going over the top some more this year. So I give you, oh man, I want to say an A minus or B plus, just because that lineup is pretty solid. People are sleeping on Swift too. I think he's going to get tons of work.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Braylon Allen because I kind of, with Aaron Glenn coming over from Detroit, I see him kind of wanting to implement what they had going in Detroit with Monty and Gibbs. I see them
Mm-hmm.
trying to do something like that with Allen and Hall.
I don't think they
So
like Brees at all much, man. I think it's going to start switching to Braylon this year.
yeah, it's tough.
I like your team, D Haas. I do.
we're not all being nice to each other because we're in the same division, right? Like,
No, no, no.
Um,
I really think we have a strong division, like from top to bottom.
I don't think you have one of the strongest teams in the league, but I do like your team. I'm not a fan of Jalen Hurts, so I always gotta shit that one every time. I do like Michael Penix though, so you do have Michael Penix, which I think is gonna have a great year this year. Um, I think Alvin Kamara is finally gonna start coming down. I don't like DeAndre Swift, but I do like Allen and Harvey. But I don't think that they can be like top running backs. So running backs is obviously your weak spot. I love Drake London. I think Drake London could be like the top three wide receivers this year. I'm not as I think Jameson Williams comes down a bit. Same argument that I have for Porta coming down this year is I don't think Tesla is going to be good enough to be fantasy relevant, but I think he's going to be good enough to
be a
bring
pain in the
down,
ass.
be a pain in the ass to Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta owners.
Okay.
That's what I think
I
is
didn't
going
get
to
to even
happen.
touch on Tesla, but when we were on my roster, I think he's going to end up being a top, maybe a wide receiver 3 in top 36. That's my
I
that's my big take.
think that I mean I love him. I drafted him in Dynasty, and I was super happy that I did. Way before the hype started, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just don't see him being like fantasy relevant with all those targets, like all those weapons around him is what, he can't get a lot of targets because of the fact that there are so many people to throw the ball to who are all good.
He can't, but he's good for a good like a 60-65 bomb
Yeah.
frequently. So that's the big upside with JMO. He's going to give that volatility.
Speaking of wide receivers, though, Tugi, I know you really like Wandale Robinson with his 10 catches a game for 20 yards.
Dude, no.
You're being way too nice, man. More like 15 yards.
Gee hates it too because he still puts up like a 15, 20.
It does. He puts in 15,
I want to.
16 points. It's so annoying, dude. Like, I saw one of these games. Which one was it? 16.
That's why.
What was it? God. Look
Oh,
at
look
this.
at that
40
11 for
yards,
38.
15 points. 40 yards, 15 points. No touchdowns.
I want to say I saw last year at some point I want to say his A dot was like I want to say it was behind the line of scrimmage. It was like negative yardage.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah, when we were
screenplays every single
drafting, I
play.
saw him still on the board as one of my last picks. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take Wandale for $1, please."
So stupid. I give you a B, by the way. Um, who wants to shit on me first?
I'll let D-Hoss go because Manchester United is taking a penalty at the final play of the game, and I'm going to watch that while he
Okay.
does it.
Okay. Gee, I do actually like your quarterbacks. Like we were just talking, Dallas has no running game, no defense. They're going to have to throw it 40 times a game because at least Cincy has a running game that they can rely on. Dallas doesn't even have that. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I obviously love seeing them crumble, but Dak easily has like top 5 potential this year. Easy. And I
I
also love
love that.
Bryce Young. Like, that was one stack earlier that I was talking about that I forgot to mention was Bryce Young and Ted. Like, I was looking at them too, like, ooh, I could get those for cheap. I love Bryce Young this year. You just can't stay away from C Mac, can you?
No.
You're just married to him at this point. Bucky, love the upside there. That good offense, good player, great upside.
Just hoping that they give him more snaps this year. They finally get their head out of their asses and stop feeding Rashad White.
And it's hard to hate on your wide receivers. Now, I will say this. I wish you wouldn't have helped Holden out. Like, I wish we could have all just sat back and watched Holden's like season just burn with no quarterbacks, things like that. But it's okay. You wanted to be the first one to take advantage because you always seem to trade your way into the
I'm going to be
playoffs.
honest. I could have taken more advantage of him. I could have
Yeah,
gotten fucking Jamar Chase instead of Brown. Okay, I didn't do it.
yeah.
I knew everybody would have thrown a fit. I was nice, and I said, let's make it Brown instead of Chase.
Yeah, I do like your roster's just solid. You can't hate on Nico and the Sun God. I think my favorite player on your roster, though, just given like what you paid for him and everything like that, is Evan Ingram. Like I love the Broncos offense this year. I love what's been coming out of camp about Ingram. I love that he's in an offense that's run by Peyton. Like we might, finally see the ceiling of Ingram um, over there in Denver. Like I
Yep,
love that. You got him for $5.
something like that.
Yeah, like I love that value.
Yeah, five
Um,
dollars.
yeah, Gee, I'm gonna give you a B plus, dude. Like I love it.
All
Like
right,
you just solid all everywhere. I don't.
Human,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
start off with my grade. My grade is definitely in the A realm, whether it's an A or an A minus. I think this is probably one of the better starting lineups in the league, with the caveat that McCaffrey stays healthy.
Yeah,
Absolutely love Dak. I've been trying to. I love. I love Gee's Dak, and he loves my scat. And I I would love to try to acquire him since I have Pickens. Um, I adore Dak that much. I think Bryce is going to have a really solid year, consistent year. Uh, ASB, Nico, not going to say anything about it. Jalen's the one that could be a big like bounce back year, but also a little bit of a question mark. Love Pearsall, love Ingram for everything that you said, D Haas, but his bench is what I really love. He handcuffed Brian Robinson smartly, and he's made some waiver pickups with Ollie Gordon, which he can surely flip for something. Steph, I think, is going to be really solid PPR guy this year. Dante Thornton and Torrey Horton are two rookies that I really like. Dante Thornton, we already know, is probably making Jacoby expendable a little bit. And I think Torrey Horton's going to be pretty good. And you got a nice couple tight ends to back up there. So this is a solid A minus, maybe an A for me. Probably one of the front runners right now after the deals you made.
yeah, I'm with you there. I think this is the like I normally don't like my team that I draft. This is like probably one of my favorite teams that I'm starting the season with. For the same, I came in knowing that I wanted Dak for all the reasons that we said, and I wanted Bryce. I felt like everyone is sleeping on Bryce. He
Mm-hmm.
finished the season with his last 5 games of the season scoring 31.8 points per game. Uh, I just see Tech coming in and this offense taking a step up. I honestly think Bryce can be one of those quarterbacks that gets 32 points a game, 33 points a game. I did the same kind of thought process with Baker Mayfield last year, and Baker finished at 34 points per game with Tampa. This is what I'm expecting Bryce to be. I'm expecting Bryce Young to be last year's Baker Mayfield. Uh, Bucky Irving, I love Bucky. I talked about his talent all of last year, how I believed in him. I think he can start catching more passes now, get a higher percentage of snaps. If he does, he's easily a 20 point plus per game type of player. But these Tampa Bay coaches can be frustrating, and I can see that not happening, which would blow up my team. Christian McCaffrey again, the if the injury happens, it blows up my team. But I want Christian McCaffrey because Christian McCaffrey is that player that he can win your league, and I want the players that can absolutely win your league. My wide receivers are just hands down the best wide receivers in the league. Safe floor, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nico Collins got the big high upside. I get it. Jalen Waddle is like, maybe people aren't thinking that he can bounce back. I think he can. But my favorite one is Stephon Diggs. Well, I got super cheap. He was scoring 19 points per game with Houston last year as the third wide receiver target. And now he's the number one target for New England, and we all expect Drake May to be good. I think everyone's sleeping on Diggs. Uh, yeah, I just wish I had one of the big three tight ends, but then that would just make my team unstoppable. So I'm gonna give
I
myself
do
an
want to address one thing. I think we buried the lead a little bit with CMC, and we didn't talk about that enough. If CMC does get hurt, let's talk about that scenario. And I mean, Ollie Gordon, you're going to put in there Brian Robinson. You're going to have a huge drop off. What are your plans if CMC does get hurt?
If CMC gets hurt, it's Brian Robinson. He's gonna. That's what the 49ers do. They'll run their dude. They have their running back and they'll run him. And they picked up Brian Robinson to be that insurance case. Just like Jordan Mason last year. Jordan Mason last year was great when CMC was hurt. That's, he's not CMC, but he was still very good. I'll give myself an A. Let's go on and go to the last team in our division, Ari, whose quarterbacks he's got Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Spencer Rattler. Running backs Jameer Gibbs, Cook, Caleb Johnson, Ray Davis. Wide receiver, he's starting Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, Joshua Palmer, Christian Kirk. At tight end, he's got Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, Pat Fryermuth, and Colston Loveland. Human, you know this man better than any of us. Go ahead and tell us what you think.
Which, that alone, knowing this man and that he constructed a roster like this, I don't understand how. I think he did a great job, obviously, with Jamar and Jettas. Like, that's the two best receivers in the league. I don't think Jettas is going to have too much of a drop off with McCarthy. I think McCarthy's going to be capable of supplying him and hyper targeting him. And not only does he have Jamar Chase, he's got Jamar Gibbs, who he names him. Gibbs and Cook. Gibbs, obviously elite. Cook, I do suspect some regression because he had 16 touchdowns last year. I don't think that's replicable this season. So there's going to be some regression there unless he starts playing in the pass game some. Rodgers isn't an ideal QB2 to have, but it could work. Pittman, I'm not super high on, but we'll see what happens with Daniel Jones if they click and he keeps going with them. But if you can scroll down to his bench a little bit, that's where he does have Ray Davis. Okay, good. He's got a good future prospect in Caleb Johnson also. Colston Loveland, I actually really like, and I could see him probably starting him over Dallas Goedert towards the end of the season. Palmer has upside too in that Buffalo offense. I think I liked Audie's roster a lot more than I did, or the first time we recorded this than now, but I still think it's a really strong roster. The QB2 is a little iffy. So I think I downgrade him maybe to like a B+ from our original podcast. I don't see Pittman. Pittman's a big question. Cook's going to have some regression, and Rodgers and the tight end position.
What about you, D-House?
Well, I gave all three of us a B+, and I'm going to stay with that for Audie as well. Yeah, his quarterback too could use an upgrade. I don't know anybody that would be excited this year starting Rodgers, even though he's obviously in a better situation than he was in New York. That was a great thing to point out, Human, about Cook, because I feel like people are still high on him and expecting him to score like he did last year without realizing that he did so well because he had 16 touchdowns.
And I know that because I had Cook last year, and watching the games, I mean, he's the guy there, but they're spreading it around. They've got Ty Johnson, they've got Ray Davis that they're spreading the ball around to. So unless he's very touchdown dependent for that same value at this point.
Right. So I love him as a player, but you're right. Like expecting 16 touchdowns again, like there's gonna have to be some regression there. Yep. But still, like Gibbs is his real rock for that position. That's really all he has. I do like Caleb Johnson, but like with rookies, they're usually slow to start. You usually got to wait till like mid-season to start seeing them, hit their stride. Because after Gibbs and Cook, he really doesn't have much depth there at running back, at least to start the season. And then, Guy, you said you might have the best wide receiver core in the league. But I don't like if I was Audie, I would just flex, take Pittman out of my roster altogether, and just start Jefferson and Chase and just leave a blank spot. Be like, yeah, you're still. You know what I mean? Like that
He
is
won't get negative points from that.
that's a flex in itself right there. Like Chase and Jefferson. Um, but still, I'm not a huge fan of Pittman either this year. And he's got a lot of tight ends on his bench. Like he's very tight end dependent, which as we know is not where you want to be in this league. So I'm gonna give Audie a B plus. I hate his depth, but like he's got some really really good players, obviously. So I'll go B plus.
I think Audie's an A minus. I I like his quarterbacks. I like Aaron Rodgers more than most people this season. That's why I drafted him. But then he got traded off to Holden, and then Holden traded him off to Audie. That's how that ended up there. Uh, Jameer Gibbs, obviously amazing. His RB2, James Cook, can he continue getting those touchdowns? He's got Caleb Johnson. Um, so his RB2 is a little bit suspect, but I still like it. I think it's great. And then obviously, like the rock of this team is Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. If I was Audie, I would trade either Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson for two good wide receivers. If
Or a tight end upgrade too. Maybe a receiver and a big tight end upgrade.
yeah,
You hear that, Audie? You should. You even said it. You should trade one to me.
just like try to do a 2 for 1. I'm honestly not a fan of like going being the one with the one going to two, but his team would really benefit if he did a 2 for 1. I think. Uh, just downgrade one of these two wide receivers. You don't need two super studs like this. Get two good guys. So you're, like, man, you got two tight ends in your starting spot and Michael Pittman. You got fix that issue, and this team is the best team in the league. I think he
Crazy
can.
thing is, Colson Loveland's better than the other two. Like, I think he's gonna have a better season.
He could. I'm just worried about because there are quite a few mouths in that offense, and
Yeah.
we know Ben Johnson. He's going to spread it around as best he can, probably.
I mean, I've even
True.
sent him some offers to try to get him his stack with St. Brown. I've tried to flip St. Brown for Jamar Chase with a wide receiver and a tight end. I offered him one of my backup wide receivers and the tight end to try to,
This is how Gee makes the playoffs every year.
just the
He's just
St. Brown.
Over here wheeling and
Exploitation.
dealing. Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, that covers everyone. Let's see here. You guys can't see this sheet, but the people at home will be able to do.
Do we
Uh,
want to? Do we want to rank where we think we're going to finish?
yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. Uh,
Okay.
we're gonna go from top to bottom on the dudes division. What do you guys think?
I think you and Audie are gonna fight it out for top. Um, right now, I'm gonna say it's you, Audie second. Me and D Haas are battling for third and fourth, and that's a toss-up.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's. What about you, D-House?
So honestly, I think our division's mainly going to come down to who can stay the healthiest. Like I have us all very, very close. So given that, I mean, I'm going to put myself first, honestly. And
I like that.
Yeah. And then after that, I'll probably go Gee, Audie, then Human.
All right. I'm going to bring up another list. I wonder if it'll be easy for me to share this with you guys instead of this one. I should have already had it pulled up here, but
Yeah, you're good, man.
How's that? You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is when I did my fun AI experiments and had them rank us. Gemini had me first, Gary second. Gemini really believes in the Chiefs. Uh, Ari third, Jordan fourth, Kyle fifth, Dylan sixth, D Haas seven, Rob eight, Victor nine, Will 10, and then Holden 11, and Human last. So Gemini really hated you there.
AI is out of control.
It's out of control. Uh,
I've been so friendly with AI over the last year, also, so I'm a little offended,
Grok had
especially with chat. Fuck you, Chat GPT. It's a zero.
Grok had Gary first, Jordan second, me
What the
third.
fuck? Okay, they're invalid.
Ari fourth, Dylan fifth, Victor sixth, Holden seventh, D House eighth, Rob ninth, Kyle 10th, Will 11th, and Human 12th. So obviously Gemini and Grok are both idiot. I mean Gemini is smart because it had me number one, uh, but honestly no, I think the most accurate, the best one was ChatGPT. Had Ari first, me second, and Rob third, which I do feel like those are the three best teams. So I actually feel like ChatGPT did a good job because it got the three best teams in my opinion. At top
Yeah.
three.
It has Human last too.
Has
all
Human
AI.
last, all AIs hate humans. But that's understandable
That's all right.
because they're going off of fantasy experts.
Right, and I've got young guys. I've got a lot of rookies that
Yeah.
I'm depending on.
Well, and Dylan fourth, Kyle fifth, Gary sixth, which I think is too high. Jordan seventh, Victor eighth, D Haas nine, way too low for you, D Haas. Midnight Ride 10th, and the Goblin 11th, which is a fun little experiment there. Now,
Human is right.
Please
though.
hold on to these so we can compare them at the end of the season.
yeah. I'm definitely gonna keep these up. Where was I'm gonna see if I can find Dylan's experts, which I
As you're
believe.
looking for stuff right now, I'm watching the Texas Ohio State game just kicked off. Is it possible that I can just give up all my fab right now to have Jeremiah Smith for next year?
Let's try Human.
No? Is that a no?
That's a no. And this one was Dylan's. Which I believe this is probably Fantasy Pros. Has Rob number one and Kyle number two, which is very interesting. Victor 3, me 4, Jordan 5, Ari 6, Gary 7th. Apparently, the pros are a fan of Gary too. Dylan 8th, Human 10, D Haas. Then Goblin and Will last. I guess it did not like what Will did with the trades and stuff. If you guys were to rank who you think is going to be the champ, what do you guys got here?
Right now, I got
I think
Robert.
I think the three division winners in my head with Dylan, Gee, and Rob will be the ones that are really fighting for that title. I could see a Gee and Rob final or a Dylan and Rob final. Either way, I see Rob in the final. And I think Rob wins this year.
Oh man, that would be so brutal if Rob repeats. Can you believe the shit talking that will happen if he repeats?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want shit talking from anyone else besides Rob. He at least is entertaining with it.
That's true.
What scares me with Rob is like his strength is working the waiver wire, and I think this might be like one of the best drafts he's had in like recent years. And we haven't even gotten the seasons.
We're losing you,
Did
D
D-Haas
Haas.
just drop out?
Yeah.
I think someone got in and hacked it and ripped him off before he claimed Rob to be the champ.
This is not gonna let himself do it. Well, we'll see if D Haas comes back or not. You got anything else you want to talk about, Human?
No, I just think we've got a lot of parity, I think, this year. Aside from those three top ones that we were just talking about, I think there's going to be a lot of parity in close games and kind of what we experienced last year with the playoff spots where we had a lot of teams close in that range, and it's going to come down to some tiebreakers and things like that.
Yeah.
Was this emo defense?
Dude, my laptop died.
Is there electricity go out? Why the fuck is it so dark now?
Because I ran to my charger
Oh.
in this room. That's all.
You got anything else
Yeah.
you want to say to the people before we head out, D Haas? We're about to close the show.
No, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. We all know who's good at fantasy football and who's not. So expect the people who are good to finish well later in the season and expect the shitty people to get renamed. Again, you, Kyle, Will, you guys know who you are.
All right. And with
But-
that, I think we can call it a night, gentlemen.
All right.
Successful
Take
recording.
2 complete.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah.
See you, bud. Thank you.